Do your past secrets haunt you? Do you wish to tell them, but something holds you back?
Come back, kid. You have a job to do.
No! Stop! Get away from me!
Stop running.
Hello there. It took me much more time to finish the analysis on this game, but we finally made it. Hope that the following videos will not be dedicated to one game so much, but who knows. The Evil Within 2 analysis will be much shorter, by the way. But here we are, about to finish the game, find out whether the game will give us all the answers and show us some new remarkable gameplay. Probably this video will be shortest of all, so bear with me. If you haven't watched any of the previous episodes, I recommend you to check them out, otherwise you literally won't understand a thing.
Is it over? I'm back?
Kidman wakes up in a hospital room and seriously considers the idea that everything is over, despite her being in dirty and torn clothes. Someone knocks the door, drawing our attention, and Kidman finds herself in Sebastian's hub.
Are we awake? Hey you! What's going on?
Probably this place belongs to Leslie, and he subconsciously sends people to this place to make them feel safe, at least for a little while. Kidman meets Tatiana and the administrator here, and just try to guess what goal this corporation wants to achieve with STEM.
Society is wounded. People are suffering. Hopeless. Just as you were. Before we saved you. Mobius can now do the same for everyone. STEM is a machine designed to connect everyone's subconscious. And whoever is at the center has the power to influence them. There couldn't be a better tool to change the world, to lead. Society needs...
Yep, they want to conquer the world. Slightly further we find the familiar reporter we saw several times already. After his disappearance we find a tape where Jimenez mentions a certain female officer from the police, and it's very possible that the police officer was none other than Myra Castellanos. As we remember, she used to work in the police, and after the accident with her daughter, she started digging. Then Kidman sees the familiar scene where Ruvik is talking to Sebastian. Honestly, I'm not quite sure why this scene is here. Probably it exists only to give us some orientation in time and show that this scene already happened. Kidman finds out that Mobius knows that Ruvik can override his personality on a user.
The odds of compatibility are astronomical.
But the boy, Leslie, you're saying he's a compatible subject.
Yes, and based on Rubin's notes, the STEM should be able to run with Leslie as its source.
I need you to do tests. Determine what must be done to make him the blank slate we need.
I still don't understand why sending a Mobius agent into STEM, risking his life, risking the reveal of the whole plan and possible interference from inside STEM is considered safer than sending a couple of Mobius agents undercover to the hospital that belongs to Mobius and taking Leslie out of there, even by force. After some wandering and encountering some enemies, Kidman loses her flashlight. And this is the place where I want to pretend that you are a game designer. Kidman has a flashlight, right? It doesn't require any consumables like batteries, for example. It's not broken and works perfectly fine. You don't have to shake it to make it work like in The Last of Us, for example. You want to add an element of challenge and anxiety to the gameplay. You come up with a brilliant idea, light sticks. This is a great idea indeed. Now the light turned into a source. This can be even turned into a challenge. Depending on how well you know the location and how many times you've played the game, you may try to use as little light sticks as possible. Players have to be extra attentive because the game consists of several levels, and it's important not to waste a single light stick, especially after the main game where Sebastian had only 5 matches from the start. Besides, players don't even know whether they can pick these light sticks up again, and how long these sticks work. It's not a flashlight where you just push one button and the flashlight works. Now, before using a light stick, you have to make a decision. Are you sure that you want to throw it without even knowing whether you'll be able to get it back? Sounds like a great idea, don't you think? The only problem here is that these sticks are infinite. So you can throw away this potentially great idea into the nearest window. This game is literally a cemetery for potential and great ideas. I honestly do not understand the logic behind it. The only thing that these light sticks change now is that everything is green. Yes, only 3 light sticks remain at a time, but it doesn't quite change anything. You can still throw a light stick with your every single step. In terms of gameplay, this DLC doesn't provide us with any new tricks or features, except for already mentioned light sticks. This way we may concentrate on the plot more. Kidman meets Shade again. Do you remember that outstanding gameplay where we had to maneuver between servers in a tight room with electricity from the assignment? Kidman has to repeat it once more, slightly after we find Jimenez reacting to actions of Mobius and what they did to Ruben.
What have you done to Ruben? Show me!
Keep your emotions out of this, Jimenez. He brought this upon himself. We gave him a chance.
Where is he?
If you really wish to know, he's in the next room. Come, see.
Besides that, Kidman finds another flashlight. What was the point of using those light sticks again? I don't know, but whatever. And then, almost for the first time in the game, we see some personal attitude and decent reaction to what's been happening around.
This is despicable. What is this monstrosity?
Despicable? Coming from the man using his own patients to further his own research? The irony of this situation is amusing. But even you must realize what we can do with this.
This means STEM will run. We can continue the experiments.
And your assistance is even more necessary than before.
And once again, I vividly see how this game lacks some personal attitude, some reactions, estimations, thoughts. And I would completely prefer all this information to be in the main game. The more I play, the more I think that all this should have been in the main game. If this information were in the main game, we could concentrate on Kidman, we could concentrate more on Rubik and his trauma. Maybe we could even dive into Mobius's deeds. But in this case, players have to buy this piece of game to get more information that should have been given a long time ago.
You're lying to me, hiding things. I can't trust you, not like this.
You are not required to trust us. Only to obey.
Slightly later, while climbing down extremely long stairs, the administrator tells Kidman,
You were assigned to your team for a reason. Castellanos, Oda, they know nothing. But they're searching for answers.
Searching for us, you mean?
One of us. But this may be our chance to remove them. Having all of you in one place will provide us with opportunities.
This is not true because neither Joseph nor Sebastian was looking for Mobius. They didn't even know that Mobius existed. Yes, Sebastian was looking for his wife, but this information was left so far behind. The administrator says that when they are all together, there may be a chance to remove them. Let me show you where these people are situated right now. There are at least several Mobius agents there. If Mobius wants to remove them, why can't they just shut down their terminals? Why can't they just shoot them in the face? Again, dozens of questions and not a single answer. I heard this was a DLC that answers questions. From some notes and tapes, players find out Kidman's attitude to Mobius. For Mobius, she was just an investment. You work, you eat. But for Kidman, Mobius was so much more. She wanted to be a part of it, wanted to be needed and helpful. Her faith in Mobius is so blind, she cannot even assume at first that they may betray her.
You said I shouldn't be, but I am thankful. I don't know what would have happened to me if you hadn't brought me in.
After several hours of top-notch stealth gameplay, Kidman finds a gun. We've been wandering around tables, columns, servers, we've experienced every possible way to have fun, and now it's time to go back to roots. Shooting doesn't differ, but I cannot say that this is a bad thing. This is just a fact. And the main reason behind obtaining a gun is to finally fight Shade. We have to find a proper angle to shoot her. And just like before, she dramatically slows Kidman down while looking at her. After killing Shade, we see already mentioned cutscene where all the logic and any understanding of the world flips upside down, and again, I don't understand what's happening. I already described my attitude to it, so I don't see any reasons to repeat myself. But now we'll finally be able to know what actually happened to Sebastian when he started turning into a zombie. Turns out...
What is...
Stay back. She's my responsibility.
Rubik was behind all this, literally. Kidman shot him, and it worked for some reason. It's not like other people and police officers didn't try to shoot him, and he was totally not impressed. And once again, why did Rubik stop doing what he was doing? Why can't he just continue doing it until he drives Seb crazy? And wait, no. Probably the game decided to show us some more breathtaking stealth, and that we didn't need our gun anymore. Some may argue, but the following two rooms are probably the best in the game. I still don't know what's happening here though. I mean, we have to follow Leslie. To do this, we have to navigate through the rooms, burn down several paintings with Rubik, and it should work somehow. Well, okay. I'm already too exhausted to find some meaning behind all this. Why is it shooting red bubbles again? But nevertheless, this is the place where you can pass this segment using various options. Usually in this game, you have only one way to pass a segment. All game mechanics are gathered here, and this is great for a change. After some wandering again, Kidman is captured by Laura's hands. Leslie, controlled by Rubik, tries to kill us, resists and shoots the picture and sets it on fire somehow. Again, it works for some reason. We see the scene from the main game where Kidman is trying to kill Leslie because she realizes that he's been taken over by Rubik. Again, like it's the 10th time she sees how Leslie is controlled by Rubik, and only now she decides to point her gun at him. Seriously, I often can close my eyes to some weak scenes, some flaws and actions for the sake of script. But here they are shown right in your face so many times, it's hard to count them. Turns out that she wasn't talking to the administrator, but it was Sebastian. What is this subversion for? What does this change? Nothing. It just overcomplicates everything again. Kidman sneaks into the control room where she shows how she overcomes her fear of the administrator. Kind of. At first when I came to this room it was kind of awkward. I thought some transition was going to happen or my game just glitched. But no, we have to go slightly forward and destroy the monitor. I'm not sure what this scene is supposed to do. I mean, according to the game, she doesn't really give a shit about the administrator. She disobeys the orders. She doesn't trust him.
Shut up and get out of the way!
Several minutes later, we finally find out why Mobius is after Leslie. I mean, yeah, I told you this in the previous videos, but this information is given to players only now. After 16 hours of the main game and almost 5 hours of DLC. This is ridiculous, honestly.
Why Leslie? What makes him special?
Leslie was not always like this. He became catatonic after a traumatic experience as a child. His family was murdered in front of him. The data would suggest that brainwave synchronization with Ruben correlates to specific trauma. In this case, Ruben's own loss of family.
This will not do. We need something else at the core. Something more acceptable to a whole range of people.
Kidman finds out that she's expendable and she was sent here only because Mobius couldn't risk anyone valuable.
Absolutely not. We can't afford you complicating this any further. We will prepare one of our own.
Sending someone inexperienced, we can't even be sure they can come back.
Then it will need to be someone expendable.
Expendable. So that's how you see me. And I trusted you.
Please ignore my furious face about the fact that again they could just send a couple of Mobius agents and take Leslie without all the circus. Kidman transforms Mobius into Beacon for some reason and follows the steps of Sebastian from the beginning of the game. Kidman finds a shotgun that can shoot twice in the cutscene but only once while gameplay, and the game reminds us about the infusion from the beginning of the game.
Very disappointing, kid. Such a simple mission, but still, you act out. Thankfully for us, there's always a backup plan. Not everything we give you is for your benefit.
The infusion.
What did you put in me?
We needed to know if one of us could survive in the system. But we're not about to risk anyone of value. You were sent to carry us in with you. So here I am.
To tell you the truth, when I played this game for the first time, I was like, what infusion? What did I miss again? Oh, that infusion. Okay, it's time for me to find out how it works. And I don't know, this game is so desperately trying to create a substance, to create a vision, that there is some structure behind all this, but I'm done. The infusion, the liquid that allows someone to get into STEM through the mind of the possessor. At first we were told that it was supposed to hide us from Ruvik, which didn't work by the way, and Kidman completely ignored that fact. Now we're completely sure that the administrator lied to us, and the real reason behind this infusion was to carry the administrator with Kidman. In other words, to test whether the administrator could survive in STEM. But he has been to STEM before. We know that because of the scar that appears after you get out of STEM. Considering the fact that this is not even the real administrator, I absolutely don't see the purpose of this scene, except trying to explode my head again. Again, we find another tape with Jimenez in Terra. He says that Mobius knows everything, and knows about Leslie. Jimenez told this information to the administrator, in person. Why is he surprised that Mobius knows about Leslie? Kidman finally catches up to Leslie, sees herself and other people in STEM terminals, decides to shoot the core and... the game ends? Well, that was unexpected, but the game has always been full of unexpected and strange decisions. Thank you so much for your patience and attention. God damn it. Leslie tries to hide behind Sebastian's back. Sebastian is trying to protect the boy. He says that Joseph was killed by Kidman. Once again, the game could make a more obvious emphasis on this, but okay. Ruvik takes over the place and starts devouring Leslie, while Sebastian and Kidman patiently let him do it with guns in their hands.
Leslie!
The final fight begins. I see red and I shoot the red. This boss fight consists of 3 phases, and I like how the environment changes in this scene. In the first phase, we have to shoot the real fake administrator among other shadow clones. In the second phase, we have to shoot angry Kidmans. And honestly, I do love these enemies. They're fast, their movement are unnatural and disturbing. I wish we could witness them through the game.
You're going to die, kid.
And the third phase consists of hiding and shooting. The last bullet was saved to shoot the administrator right in his face. And that's the main reason why I'm sure that this STEM administrator was fake and was created by Ruvik. We all know that if you die in STEM, you die in real life. Even if we assume that she didn't shoot the administrator, can you imagine the fury of the real administrator if he witnessed all that shit and disobedience Kidman was doing? Everyone wakes up. Myra, Sebastian's wife, shows up, along with other agents. Together they take Leslie somewhere, although we saw him walking away at the ending of the main game. Myra tells us that it's been only 37 minutes since the first pulse, which means that you can throw away all theories about police officers that were coming to STEM, forget about all chronology of events. How did the administrator was supposed to communicate with Kidman through the infusion when only now it turns out that the time goes much slower in STEM than in real life? I'm still not sure why we are here. I mean, we got sucked into STEM where Connolly was driving the ambulance car. Why are all of them here? Besides, why Kidman is the only one standing? This is the real world, right? Why isn't she in one of the terminals? Maybe Myra will tell us.
How did we get here? What are you talking about?
Yeah, me, I guess. Kidman realizes that this Myra is the Myra Sebastian was looking for. She probably notices Tatiana. I'm not sure, but she clearly looks like one. Finally, she receives the mark of STEM.
Ah, damn it.
If you're attentive enough, you could find pieces of a letter through the game. This machine, this system, I was reborn inside, and I will be reborn again. For every person STEM touches, a seed of myself will be within them. Piece by piece, I will corrupt you, consume you. I envision a world where a mere glance of the eye will allow me to spread onto the next. Just as you said, I'm a ghost, but now I have a vessel in all of you. The man from Mobius, he entered here lusting for some sort of power long ago. As for you, kid, even if you happen to escape, I will leave my mark on you as I did to him. Sounds like a promising groundwork for the second part. I don't know what to say here. The game completely blew my mind, in a bad way. In my humble opinion, it clearly lacked some vision. I do understand that game creation goes through different iterations. You create something, then you think that it doesn't fit the game. Maybe it's out of place, maybe it's imbalanced, maybe it doesn't look polished enough. But in the case of this game, it seems like everything that could go wrong went wrong. History knows some examples where clumsy gameplay was forgiven due to an outstanding story, or vice versa. But even this story is not that breathtaking. Some may think that throwing a bunch of facts and mix them all up in an appropriate environment can hide the fact that those facts don't create a memorable narrative experience. This game is a vivid example that this may be not quite the right decision. But my gestalt is finally closed. There was so much potential, so many things could be done better. This story is potentially amazing. The artwork is superb. But we have what we have. It was really hard for me to love the game, although it was sold pretty fine. And now, after finishing the second game, I can clearly see that they improved in many aspects. But it lacks something. I will try to figure it out in one of the following videos. It will be much shorter, mostly because the story is much more straightforward. Thank you so much for your patience and attention. Until then, see you later, ladies and gents. Take care and stay healthy.
You're gonna tell me about Mobius.